It's from before my mother got sick and we moved here. I loved reading stories about pirates, so my father drew a treasure map for me. I searched the whole house, one clue at a time. It led me to this enormous tree in the yard where Daddy had put up a tire swing.
Hello, Smirnoff residence.
You're
Blacksad
dead!
here.
No, I got you with my lasso!
Can you quiet down, kids?
Dunn got killed for stirring the hornet's nest.
And you confessed your crime!
Kids, please.
He'd been investigating athletes for months, including Helen Moore and Al Stone, among others. Dunn's notes aren't all that clear, and I'm not sure what he was after. But I'd say we're facing a widespread corruption case.
Well, if you're right, that could be some dangerous evidence. Bring it here ASAP.
Sure, but there's something important that I need to finish first. I wanted to follow a certain lead on my own before Smirnov had the chance to see anything. According to his notebook, Dunn had seen Craig Spano at Sam's Diner just 4 days before his death.
Get out of here, pussy! I told you to beat it! Get out of here, pussy!
Beat it or what?
Well, I can't make up my fucking mind. Either call the cops or beat your ass. Which would you prefer?
It might have been easier to slap the information out of him, but I decided to trust in a universal truth. Everyone is guilty of something. You don't know who I am, right?
Don't know and don't care. Come on, spit it out.
I'm John H. Blackmore from the Consumer Protection Office.
Oh, yeah, right. There are some real freaks around here, so I have to be firm, you know? Have you eaten? Dinner's on the house.
Only if you don't treat me like the rest of your clients. You have far too many complaints. Will you cooperate?
Sure, go ahead. Your call. Always at your disposal, Inspector. Ask away.
Fear turned him soft and made him talk. Sure enough, Dunn had been there a few days back with a chimpanzee who matched Spano's description. Apparently, the guy still lived with his father. Dunn said he couldn't stay there a day more. For the time being, he would move into his place.
Wait a minute here. What does consumer protection have to do with that chimp?
The chimp died of food poisoning,
But wait! He didn't even eat!
which is even worse. Dunn had taken Spano to his place. I wanted to believe that when Randall Lee broke into the apartment, Spano fled to his former address. But where could that be? I gotcha. If the living have rich and poor neighborhoods, so do the dead. In the mid-19th century, Greenwood became the resting place to the city's most distinguished citizens. Thinkers, scientists, writers, inventors, artists, businessmen, politicians, police officers, thieves, pimps, and murderers. Here lie the bodies of the soulless minds that raised New York from the ground up. Now you know where to go to become somebody in the Big Apple. O'Leary wouldn't have sent Randall to kill Dunn. He would have dragged him to his basement, given him his little speech, and then killed him himself. Mitchell, who fought with Dunn during the war, tried to pass as Yale's doctor. The 4 bases guarding their father. According to the book I found at Dunn's place, fans of the sport leave baseballs on Bradwick's tomb to pay their respects. It'd be even better with a skull between the bats. If this had been here over 30 minutes, it'd be covered in ants. Still hot. I found a baseball glove at Joe Dunn's place. A glove signed by a great star. I couldn't believe my luck. Joe Dunn met with someone at the diner, close to his gym. Then he took that person to his house, so that he didn't have to live at the cemetery. I would have never guessed the person's identity. I'm investigating a case of sports corruption. I think a considerable amount of athletes are involved, both current celebrities and former stars.
Marleys are the absolute worst. Who are you?
I'm John Blacksad, private investigator.
How's Joe?
One question at a time. It's my turn.
Your turn.
Why did you meet with Joe Dunn?
Because he was looking for me. He came here one morning, but I was too embarrassed to come down. Because he left a baseball with his initials
On by the tombstone. Sam's Diner, tomorrow, 12:30 a.m. Because he knew they want to kill me.
What did he want from you? And who wants to kill you?
One question at a time. How's Joe?
What would happen if I told him the truth? Would he lose it? Could I take that chance? Joe Dunn is dead. Murdered.
I told you, Joe. How did it happen?
One question at a time. My turn. What did Dunn want from you?
He wanted to know who was playing dirty in the sporting business. Dirtier than usual, that is. Wrecked lives, careers, ruined at the top of their game. He wanted to know if the same had happened to me. He wanted to know if the end of my career and my disappearance had anything to do with all that. He wanted me to confirm who was behind it all. The guy who had him killed. Our old friend, the surgeon.
Is Mitchell the surgeon? Is he the person behind all of this? That surgeon you mentioned, is he...
My turn. I want to know why I should trust you.
Do it for Joe Dunn, our common friend. It's my turn. That surgeon that you mentioned, is he in this photo I got here? Ow! Hey! Hey, that toss was... Huh? Both my ear and my self-esteem would hurt for days. But at least I had a new lead to follow, the surgeon. The bastard had avoided my scrutiny by passing as a hospital doctor. But now, all of my senses were on guard. No matter how good the disguise or how well he hid, I would find him.
So, what you're saying is, 1, there's a corruption scandal involving all kinds of athletes. 2, our puppet master is a surgeon named Mitchell, a man who happened to fight in the war with Dunn, right?
Maybe, but it could be no more than a false lead.
Anyway, where was I? Number 3, right? 3, since Dunn was on his trail, Mitchell, or whomever, hired an anteater to get rid of him. Then, since you were also shaking the wasp's nest, he went after you. But the anteater made a mistake, and Mitchell, or whomever, killed him to cover his own tracks. And, wait, 4, the key to all this lies with a common friend of Dunn's and Mitchell's, Craig Spenow. Do you really trust him? You're not sure, are you? Well, pay attention. I've got my own theory. 5. Dunn was murdered 4 days after taking Speno to his house. If that doesn't make him suspect, makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, it could make sense.
Ha! Who's the detective now? Let's follow up with the suspects. You told Smirnoff that even though you're sure Yale is innocent, you think he's hiding something. But what about O'Leary? 6.
Nah, I know O'Leary, and he wouldn't have sent a hitman. He would have taken matters into his own hands.
What about Cassidy? 7, right?
I think it's safe to rule out Cassidy as Dunn's murderer. He seems too impulsive to have planned such a twisted crime. Whoever planned the whole thing knew the suicide theory would fall through, so he manipulated the clues to incriminate Yale. Cassidy is too impulsive to pull off such an intricate plan.
So, even if you have your doubts, Mitchell is the one pulling the strings. And you know why? Because in novels, the murderer is always someone the detective knows from the beginning.
Well, that could be the case in British novels. You know, where everyone in the mansion where the murder took place is a suspect. But this might just be an American whodunit, where the detective doesn't even meet the culprit until the last scene.
You mean we still don't know who's pulling the strings?
I didn't say that. How did it go with Helen Moore?
I didn't get anything, even though it started out really well. I asked to interview her along with her boyfriend, Al Stone. Since I'm a big shot, they were happy to oblige. Perfect. Now, time for the interview. I'll go back and forth so you don't get bored. So, who goes first?
Wait. So, are you telling me the photos are developed? Or is that what you said to Stone?
Both. Just look. How much do you think each bicep weighs?
A lot, but less than your tongue.
You're hilarious.
Who's that guy?
I know he's not a fan. You should have seen her face when she saw him.
Look at his hand. Is he pulling something out of Moore's purse? Or putting it in? That's a decent picture, but it doesn't tell the truth.
Huh? Of course it's the truth. I was there.
Stone isn't as strong as he looks, and Moore certainly doesn't need him to lift her up.
Can't you just see the love?
I'm not so sure, to be honest. Love is not subservience. The boxing thinker, the boxing poet. Boxing just might turn out to be the intellectual sport of choice. I think she only smokes when she's nervous. What was making her nervous? I've seen that matchbox before. Wait, that's him.
Who?
Mitchell, the surgeon.
Seriously? We got him.
Not yet.
Right. We still have to find him. Hey, pal. Did you hear what I just said? We need to keep looking at all those pictures. We need a clue that'll take us to Mitchell. Hey, see? There. Just like I was saying.
Brawls aren't even the worst part of my job. Sure, you may take a beating, but at least you get the chance to defend yourself. But when you're sitting in your car all night, there's no way out. Your legs cramp up, your back and neck feel stiff. Your entire body aches to be somewhere else. It's boring and repetitive. People were finally leaving the place. The bar was about to close. And I hadn't seen Mitchell go in or out. I had no choice.
I see you took me up on my invitation. And you're smart. You knew not to come until my anti-fur regulars had all cleared out.
I can't say no to good advice.
Or good bourbon. Here's looking at you, Mr. What was your name?
As far as I knew, La Iguana always stayed neutral. He played poker with Cassidy. But his joint was used as the gambling drop-off for O'Leary's operation. Did it make sense to keep faking it? Or was it too dangerous not to? Blackmore. John H. Blackmore.
I knew it. Although your Texan isn't half bad.
Let's just say I represent certain sports lobbies I'd rather not talk about.
I understand. My pleasure, Mr. Blackmore. You're natural. You're even better at pool than poker.
This is much easier. No one can cheat.
You barely flinched when Cassidy decided to teach that ego a lesson.
What do you want me to say? I was too shocked to be surprised, to be honest. The people I work for generally try to avoid these situations. Damn it.
Well, nobody's perfect. Tell me, what do you really want with Cassidy? I just don't understand your motives.
You know how a scout goes out to Little League games in search of young talent? Well, that's what I was doing at your poker game. But it's too soon to tell.
Don't worry about it. I was only curious. So, what about me? What do you want from me? No one comes to La Iguana just to drink and play pool.
I'm looking for one of your regulars, Dr. Angus Mitchell.
What for?
We fought together during the war. I just want to say hi.
Sure. Tell you what, I'll talk to Mitchell. Come back tomorrow night.
You don't understand. I have to talk to him, or else.
Or else what?
I don't think Cassidy would be too happy about the role his poker buddy plays in O'Leary's gambling operation. I'm sure you understand that.
Son of a bitch. Ha ha ha. All right. Give me your phone number, and I'll give you a call when Mitchell shows up.
No. You're gonna call him right now, and you're gonna give him this message. But when you're sitting in your car all night, there's no way out. Your legs cramp up, your back and neck feel stiff, your entire body aches to be somewhere else. It's boring and repetitive. It's so bad that your thoughts spiral in a never-ending loop, like when you're stuck in your car, on surveillance duty. The owner of La Iguana was supposed to tell Mitchell that a certain anteater was still alive, and that it was only a matter of time before he ratted him out. With a bit of luck, that would make him nervous enough to force his hand. Now all I had to do was follow him. He went in without it. I wonder what's in it.
We'll be just fine, don't worry. Gil, stand guard right here. If the cat shows up, you know what to do. I'll be back in an hour.
Could I take him by surprise from over there? Although I don't know how I'd get there. Of course, he's Randall Lee's partner. I should be careful. When they gave me a beating, I could see he was kinda trigger happy.